President Trump loudly opposes Britain's move to give up control of an obscure chain of islands situated in the Indian Ocean. The president is right. Those islands are critical for our defense. Britain must back off. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. Hardly anyone has heard of the Chagos Archipelago, but the largest island in that chain is Diego Garcia, home to a highly important military base. It is a critical outpost for us in the Indo-Pacific region. From there, we can project air and naval power to Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and East Africa. We ran bombing missions from Diego Garcia into Afghanistan and Iraq. More recently, it was used for hitting Houthi terrorists in Yemen. The base also enables us to protect ships from Somali pirates. It is critical for gathering intelligence. The U.S. Space Force monitors over 9,000 objects in space from there. It has been employed for humanitarian purposes, as it was used as a platform for providing aid for civilians in Gaza. Diego Garcia is taking on even more importance as China expands its navy to project power over sea routes beyond the critical South China Sea. Britain has long had sovereignty over this group of islands, but now London is in the process of turning them over to Mauritius, an island nation off the southeastern coast of Africa. More to the point, Mauritius is a close friend of China. Beijing is gaining a foothold there with commercial investments and its Belt and Road infrastructure programs. So why give the Chagos Islands to a pal of Beijing? Mauritius's flimsy claim lays in the fact that Britain administered the archipelago from Mauritius for several years back in the 1960s. But London severed that link in 1965. It gave Mauritius its independence in 1968 while maintaining sovereignty over the Chagos Islands. Despite the preposterous case it's making, Mauritius raised an international ruckus, and London, feeling guilty about once being a global empire, caved in last year. The weak, appeasement-minded Biden administration went along with this outrage because of a fig leaf. As part of the turnover, the U.S. and Britain would have a 99-year lease on that base. Only a fool would think that Beijing won't soon be engaging in electronic snooping and other nefarious activities, whatever the agreement says. And if we get a weak president, the U.S. would do nothing if Mauritius arbitrarily annulled the lease. There's also a gross injustice in what the Brits want to do here. Decades ago, Britain, with U.S. approval, forcibly removed the handful of people living there. They and their descendants weren't consulted on London's deal with Mauritius. They are against it. They want the right to return, and they don't want to be under the boot of a country which is no champion of tolerance and human rights. Parliament is in the process of approving this ignominious and damaging act. Our State Department green-lighted it last May. Now we've changed course. Better late than never. President Trump has forcibly and correctly labeled this as an act of great stupidity. Britain must reverse itself, and this troubled kingdom should also abandon the notion of giving the Falkland Islands to Argentina and Gibraltar to Spain. The residents of both places are adamantly opposed to such transfers. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.